that screen chat.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
No offense, no offense, Alex, but
It's
your
fine.
screens are dead anyway.
true, but I actually get some hits on YouTube.
Most of them are just me, I can assure you.
Oh, I don't doubt it. But anyways, welcome people who watch aka Fury multiple times to this bonus little thing of Shadows of Men.
Bonus episode.
Pretty much. Yeah, we unfortunately Fury will not make it tonight, so we're getting ahead and making sure we do her downtime stuff. So I would say this is about a day after the encounter with Requiem.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are currently resting, licking your wounds from that fight. While successful, definitely left you guys a little worse for wear.
Viola is likely literally licking her wounds.
Yeah, you got actually pretty hurt, not gonna lie.
And that, and she's a fox.
But anyways, Zeola, the next day arises. You feel better. You feel freshed up. You feel you feel like you feel recovered. What do you wish to do?
Well, having seen something recently, she would attempt to find Eloquent.
Okay, Eloquent, where would you be?
Probably just around.
All right, Zeola. It doesn't take long to find Eloquent. He's probably just in the tavern, probably talking to Audrey or something.
Zilla would
Yeah,
wait
probably.
until he's no longer talking with Audrey, and then approach him.
Okay.
Eloquent, may I speak with you in private?
Yes, of course.
Let's move the secrets. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
This is practice anyway.
To secrets with nobody else in the chat.
I know, right?
After probably go into back to Ziola's room, she sits on her bed and mutters and tells him, "I've been thinking. Recently, I saw you literally bring someone back from the dead. How did you do such a thing?"
The answer to that is complicated. It's
Can you go on?
I know how I used to do it. I don't know how I do it now necessarily.
Can you teach this skill?
I don't know. It's not something you really learn. Everybody I've ever seen use it has just done it. It's something that's either given to you or you have it. I've never seen, like, for instance, wizards, they learn everything they know, everything they can do. I've never seen a single wizard ever bring someone back to life. Besides, necromancy.
There's a small chuckle from Ziola. That can hardly be considered bringing someone back to life.
Very true.
Pretty sure the deity we just assisted would hang you for suggesting such a thing.
Eloquent, roll me an Arcana check.
Okay, I'll get my sheet up.
I'm not wrong though. The Raven Queen pretty much sees that as
Oh,
an unholy
yeah.
abomination of
Yep.
false life.
Yep.
Oh no,
It's,
I'm in the wrong thing.
Artificial
Yeah, can you
simile of
roll it for
life.
me?
Sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to use my new fucking browser for this.
It's fine. Just get on your old one. In the meantime, I will roll that Arcana. And I'm going to give you advantage because you might have heard of this being where you're from. Alright, let's see.
Wow,
14.
1 point improvement.
Yep. Eloquent. You have heard of non-clerics being able to bring back the dead. Not in an undeaf sense, though you're not sure on the specifics or how they learned it. But non-religious figures have done it before. Or so they say.
Sorry, what?
Oh.
You cut out.
You have heard tales, rumors, that it is possible for someone to do it, to bring someone back through arcane means, though it's rare, and honestly only you have heard rumors.
I mean, I suppose I have heard rumors, though I wouldn't have the shortest idea where to begin looking for something like that.
When you cast magic, surely you feel something, like the way the magic flows. Can you elaborate on that feeling? We both, well, we both don't
For
learn
me,
spell.
it's different.
We both don't use arcane formula like a wizard does. My magic comes from me inherently. Yours comes from a deity, but magic must flow in similar ways.
I suppose the way I would describe how I feel my magic is, it's a lot less of it flowing through me and more like it covering me. It's a lot less like I am the one casting it and more like I am a focus for the thing sending the spell towards me. It's like a wizard uses an arcane focus. It helps them cast their spells better. In a way, it's kind of like I am an arcane focus for core.
I see. I suppose I'll have to study in my own time then. Although, with this spell, do you need ingredients for it? Is there anything in particular that is required?
Eloquin, I'm
for
gonna...
other people, yes, there is.
Eloquin,
He
because...
would know this because he didn't always have that boon.
Yeah, but because the fact you do have that boon and the fact that you haven't really had to use that, I'm gonna roll you a religion check because that's where your magic's based off of, to see if you would know the component for it, because you may not know it just by nature of you got the easy way out of that.
Well, I know for Revivify it's diamonds.
Revivify it's diamonds, but for you it's trying to figure out what kind, like... Natural 20 for you, that would kind of make sense. Okay, so Revivify is like a relatively low-priced diamond. For Resurrection, like what you do more recently, it's a lot more, because it does more. It doesn't simply bring you back to life. It wills the soul from the afterlife into the body. So a great toll must be taken. A diamond at least worth 1,000 gold pieces.
Yes, it does require components for other people, not for me. I had the fortunate powers to be blessed by the great god Arcane. However,
it only took you dying to do it.
No, that was different. I got my power to cast it without components.
Zilla doesn't know that. The only thing she's seen is you nearly die and then get boon of balance.
Yep.
But the price of the components and stuff depends on what you're trying to cast. For a lower level like a lower class spell like Revivify that simply brings someone back to life, it's a fairly cheap diamond. For something more expensive like Resurrection, it's going to cost you a lot more.
Also, because of that natural 20, depending on if that person's been dead for over a year, they will not be able to cast any more spells for the rest of the day. And they will be wounded. In meta terms, they will have disadvantage on all attack rolls, ability checks, and saving throws. It takes a lot to return a person back to life.
Yeah, and if it okay, wait, is that for the caster or the other?
The caster. Literally the caster.
Okay.
The other person does even worse. The other person suffers a -4 penalty on everything.
Yeah, but that goes away. It will just...
Every time you the person takes a long rest, it goes down by 1.
For Resurrection, it causes, for at least in periods of long death, such as like a year further beyond, it tends to take a toll on the caster, and as well as the castee.
see.
target, it tends to take a rather large toll.
I see. Well, such a thing would be expected when playing with such powerful forces.
Indeed.
Thank you for your time, Eloquin. I would ask you to cast it for me, but I feel this is something I have to do myself, if I can even do it.
Zeola.
I will give you this bit of advice. When it comes to bringing back the dead, make sure that the price is worth the cost, or that the cost is worth.
Yeah,
the
I
pain.
know what you're trying to say. Yeah.
Yeah. Not everyone is worth bringing back.
I'll keep that in mind.
And then he will leave.
Zeola. It's clear to you that you're going to have to do research into this, so where would you like to begin your research into the art of bringing back the dead?
Probably at the nearest abbey.
Library?
Well, I guess
I
a
mean,
library
it's a
or
church.
yeah,
Church.
basically.
You know,
because that's, it's cleric.
you know of
cleric
Eloquin's. You know of Eloquin's church, the Church of Core. In fact, you fought in the final battle with Arkham. You fought alongside the head of that clergy, Isla. So, the one actually,
They are
funny
also
enough,
more known for influencing things like life and death.
Yep. And on top of that, she was brought back to life by Eloquin, so you can talk to her, if you so desire.
She will do that.
All right. As you make your way, you approach this clergy with these very gothic architecture. It is the clergy of death, so there is dark imagery, this gothic sense. When you walk in, because I don't think I've ever described her to you, you can find her under clergies, but to describe her again, just because. Isla Misty is this water genasi woman with green seaweed-like long hair, wearing full-plated armor. She stands up around. She stands pretty, decently tall, about 5'7", with markings of core on her armor. She has this blue sea-like skin.
Well, she's a water genasi.
Yep.
Actually, this isn't the first water genasi Zeola's been in contact with, because there was the captain of the ship that got shipwrecked, was also a water genasi.
Yep. This is not the first time you met a water genasi. This one, however, seems a little bit more serious than that one.
Yeah, well, what do you expect? Difference between a cleric and a pirate.
Isla can be a bit intense.
Paladin. She's a paladin.
Yeah. So, Zeola would approach her with a bow.
There is no need for that here. What can I help you with, Zeola?
Well, manners are what. It never does one good to forget their manners. So I thank you. There is something you can help me with. Recently, I saw Eloquin bring you back from death. I wondered, how is that done?
In our case, it is through our faith in Kor. We worship death, and therefore, if the soul is deemed worthy, we can bring them back. We can grant them extra life before they return to death.
Not that I would do this for just anyone, but
I must.
One I know that their life was taken from them by evil means. I wish to see it returned to them, but I don't want. I just feel this is something I have to do myself. Can this power be taught?
Our magic is very different, but from what I've heard, yes, it can be learned. However, it is very rare for someone without faith to learn it. ultimately, all I can do is describe the feeling of what it's like to cast a spell.
My magic comes from within me, so that might just be enough.
Maybe, but whenever you bring someone back to life, it is unique. You stand before a great being, and you have to humbly ask it for something. Whether the spell works or not, the offering is taken. The soul itself, when you manipulate it, when you return it, it feels cold. It is incorporeal. You cannot physically touch it, and yet you feel it in the palm of your hand. When the soul enters the body, one of two things will happen. Either they will open their eyes again, the soul willing to return, or the soul will leave and return back to the cold hands of death. While you're doing it, you will feel an immense coldness, unlike anything you've seen, that no blizzard can ever hope to match. That coldness will fade if it works, and instead you will feel a warmth that no fire can ever match. Ultimately, though, it is your will, your drive, that ultimately is what puts the soul in. It is not something you can do without focus. All your energy, whether they have been dead for a day or a century, must be placed into putting the soul in the body with care. If you're
Ziola makes a mental note of everything that's been said so far.
Yep. If you're able to cast it, then it will take a great deal of effort from you.
Thank you for this information.
I must ask, though, before you leave, who is it you are trying to bring back?
My older brother.
She looks down, understanding, but hating what she's going to have to say next. I cannot guarantee it will work. All I can do is give you information. You understand?
Naturally.
All right.
I thank you for even the chance.
All right. Do you try anywhere else?
She will. Then she'll go to the library and try and research, like, in particular cases of non-divine casters.
Investigation check.
Do it, or or indeed just trying to find accounts of the spell.
All right. Investigation check.
Sheet might be an idea.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
Where is my sheet? I think I've used this by now. Ziola.
Ziola.
Sheet. Investigation. It's a bad of these.
Honestly, what you find, unfortunately, with the 13, because these are rumors, even within a clergy that specializes in it. So when it comes to public information, all you can really find are rumors, tall tales, Yeah. Most commonly you find, like, scam artists where it's like, oh, they trick, like, it's a show. It's like they trick their audience into thinking, we can bring back the dead. Like, it's a con thing.
Yeah. All right. Then after that, then she will she'll research actual clerics and such. Use cases of actual clerics using
investigation check again.
Try and find, like, common, like, symbols or circles, chants, etc., etc.
Investigation check. Oh, damn.
The feeling when double nat 20.
Oof, right? With that, it's still 22, but honestly the DC was 20. You find instances of clerics doing it through faith. Typically, it's what they have described the feeling as is simply just the most common case you find is revivify, which is the soul has not left the body yet. Therefore, you heal the wounds and give the soul the extra push so that the heart may beat again. When it comes to resurrection, there are stories of an instance, like the only like major instance of a cleric casting resurrection on a hero of old, in order to defeat a great evil because they felt they had no choice. For them, it was a necessary thing. The way they described it was that the way they described it is they felt a need that they had to do this, that this was part of the natural order, and therefore it became easier. It seemed that their belief that this was the natural order helped them overcome whatever whatever obstacles were in their way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way I can describe it.
Okay. After that, and there's like no mention of like any particular runic circles or anything like that. Or candles, apart from the diamond, obviously.
With religious ones, yes. However, you don't know if that applies to you because you're not a cleric, you're not a paladin. So, for them, yes, this was a ceremony. They felt they needed to. This was we're bringing back this person who did good things to do one last good thing.
Okay. Well, she does know something, so she's gonna head to, I guess if there's a market district or anything like that in Odenstead, and try and find a jeweler.
Easy enough. I'm not gonna have you roll.
Yeah, no getting lost in the back alleys again. This will be like the 5th time she's done that.
Yep. The vendor is a red dragonborn male.
Fine, eye for detail.
Yep. Flattery will get you nowhere. What is it that you want?
I seek a diamond in particular. Specifically, one estimated to be worth at least 1,000 gold.
I'm gonna roll a percentile.
We have this 100 million gold diamond.
I have the world's largest diamond. In order request, usually when I find people shopping, they must be led into what they want. But I do have such a diamond. He moves behind. He's about like 6'8", and behind him in a display case is this diamond, like the size of a halfling.
Wow. Wow.
That's a big ass diamond.
In my head, I'm like thinking that would be at least worth 1 million. Jeez, this diamond that size.
Yeah, in this world,
Lord.
proposal is not a thing in this world, so the diamond market never inflated. So 1,000 gold worth of diamond here is worth very different.
To be big.
And so typically, I have to make this reference. This diamond is
It's like
definitely
2 for $5.
This diamond is definitely crush your grandma sized crystal.
In height, it's like 2'5", but I know you're British, so it's just under a meter tall.
That's over 3 foot. Wow.
Under a meter tall, like.
Like 3 foot is like 90 centimeters.
1 second, I'm gonna get
about
conversion.
80 centimeters. By the way, about 80 centimeters.
1 second.
It's like 12 inches is nearly 30 centimeters.
All right, points. All right, so in terms of meters, is 0.76 meters.
That was about right.
It's a big diamond. Clearly made. This is not natural. This is made.
Well, the spell never stated it had to be a natural diamond.
Nope.
Just said it had to be a diamond that was worth a certain amount.
Yep. It would.
It's certainly a beauty.
It is comprised of many other diamonds. The exterior By the way, roll a perception check.
I'm not bad at those.
It's hollow on the inside. It appears that it was made to be showy, not dense.
Yeah, dense would make it even more expensive.
Yep. It's... You know the price. Can you afford it?
What is the price exactly? 1,000.
1,000.
Out of character.
1,100. He needs to make a profit on this.
Fair enough. Ziola seems to mull it over for a moment before I can, and she will pay full price because she sees the price and she's thinking that's only a 10% profit margin. I'm not going to cut into that.
Mm-hmm. To me, it seems like this guy probably has had this for a while.
Yeah, it's like 10%. That's most people would never let something go for that profit margin. So
it's a case of, if you want to insight him, I can give you more detail. But it seems like it's been there for a bit.
I will insight him, even though I'm not as good at those. Better deception. 21.
He's had this for a long time, and no one has bought it, so he's had to by default.
This is just a case of I want this thing out of here.
It's a case of it probably used to be more expensive, and then he's had to lower the price just to get rid of it. Very well. He takes your gold and then picks up the diamond and hands it to you. It's about 10 pounds, even though it's hollow, but you don't have any difficulty carrying it.
Let me just 4-3. It's just my GP. There we go. So I would then. Now comes the hard part. Let's see how I want to. Let me see how I want to think of this. Okay, how far away from the tavern is the jeweler?
10 minutes.
10 minutes. Oh boy, that's not fun. Let me just. Oh, I have those. Okay, so what she's going to do is she's going to. Okay, so is there, how far from the jewelers, she'll leave after saying goodbye, by the way. Is there like an alley or somewhere darker, shall we say?
Perception.
Watch me fuck this up. Actually, no, I have a better idea. So, the jeweler, how tall is the building? He's outside now, by the way.
It's like a 2-story building. Not very big, I would say.
Roof style.
Curved, triangle-esque. Not flat.
I think she could balance on that. So she's going to use her Cloak of the Mountback to.
You have Boots of Flying, for the record.
Can I finish?
Yep.
She's going to use the Cloak of the Mountback to teleport up there, or Dimension Door, whatever the fuck it is.
Yep, yeah,
Dimension Door. It's a teleport.
Yep.
And then she's going to use her Boots of Flying in spurts, as it were, to basically hop along the roof of the buildings to get back to the tavern.
Are you trying to be stealthy about this?
I will attempt it, yes. Because let's be honest, I don't exactly want to go walking through town with a
there is a flying
diamond.
license for the city.
Yep. So roll me a stealth check.
That's why I'm not flying. I am hopping between buildings.
Roll a stealth check.
I have a 15 on this. Oh wow, that was a bad roll.
You still have a 21.
I have a stealth of 15, but that was a terrible roll.
You manage to land gracefully every time, and you keep yourself low. You're used to stealth, so you're able to basically avoid any guard seeing you and potentially getting fined.
Well, yeah, I'd rather risk a small fine, as it were, than trouncing through city with a 2'5" diamond and risk getting mugged.
Yep. You make it back to... Yeah, because anyone would be able to mug you. You who has a flame katana.
It'd be difficult to wield the katana and hold the diamond at the same time, though.
And also, yeah, someone is going to be able to sneak that diamond away from you with your passive.
My passive isn't that great. It's only a, what, 7?
It's a 2'5" diamond. Even if it's easy to carry, it's still pretty noticeable when someone's carrying it. But anyways, you make it back to the tavern.
I mentioned you're a known hero around town, so people would be watching.
Mm-hmm. But anyways, you make your way back to the tavern. I assume you go to your room.
Naturally.
All right.
But before I don't even go through the front door, I just jump in through my window.
Yep.
She would then set the diamond under her bed.
Roll a strength saving throw.
Oh, that's not good. I'm terrible at those.
I rolled to see if you left your window closed.
Okay, I'm not going to jump through the window then.
You too late.
Well, I would remember if I kept the window
Fine,
closed.
fine.
or
I'll be
not.
kind. I'll be kind, DM here.
I would remember.
I'll be kind, DM, even though I shouldn't be. But you go through the front door.
That's why I've made it a statement that I just always keep my window open.
Yep. But anyways, you make it to your room. How do you set this up?
Well, first of all, too bad she's not here. I didn't want to pester her, but I need to first of all make a quick detour to grab Kaysona because Kaysona has my brother's remains.
Sure, here you go.
Yeah, that's quick and easy. So, having heard everything, she's going to place in the center of her room. She's going to place her brother's remains and the diamond behind them. And first, she is going to. She's going to sit cross-legged. Or actually, she's going to sit in the, like a traditional Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
And then, actually no, she will sit cross-legged. She's going to call the katana. Hang on, she's going to call the katana of solace to her hand.
All right, before you continue, I'm a kind DM. So, is there anything you wish to do that might help you in this meta-wise, like bardic inspiration, guidance?
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Yep.
So she looks over it for a little while and thinks to herself, "My mother called this a god weapon. Does that mean there's a deity attached to it?" She places it on her lap, and she will give herself she psychs herself up in her mind, even though it's probably not going to matter anything, and she will begin to meditate and attempt, even though she probably will not, to make any contact with Solace.
Roll a self-insight check.
Bardic inspiration.
Better than I am.
Go for it.
15.
Unfortunately, you've never been a religious one. You try and you try, but unfortunately, it doesn't seem to call out, and that makes sense because Solace is not the goddess of death, she is the goddess of the sun. She cannot help you here.
Always just like, who the fuck is she?
You're on your own.
Try.
I will.
To herself.
Before you begin the ceremony, I'm going to assume you give yourself a bardic inspiration before that.
I will do, yes.
All right.
We'll give another one because I have like 5 of these. Okay. Since her stuff comes from her she can use a weapon, but for this she's going to be more personal. She begins to sing. I'm not going to pick any particular song, but it's a slow, mournful, pretty much a lullaby that's sung to young Kitsune, and one she can remember her mum singing to her.
Mm-hmm.
And as she does so, she's going to focus everything she can on this singular thought of trying to find her brother's soul in the afterlife.
As you sing, the song itself is about a tragedy. A Kitsune hero who went against their chaotic nature and had sacrificed their life to save her people. Her tale is not one of triumph, but of love. Her sacrifice has always been a tale to show how much love your people can have for one another. As you do this, your brother's skull lays on top the fur coat that the vampire made of it. The room becomes cold, very cold, as you can start to see your own breath as you continue singing this mournful song as you try to channel your magic. You're in the skull of your brother. There begins a glow. I need you to make me a charisma check. DC 17.
You now get to feel what Eloquent feels gripping that scythe all the time.
You pass by 1.
Wait, why is there +2 there?
I think.
Jack
Yeah.
of all trades.
Jack of all trades. 1 second.
Jack of all trades is amazing.
Yes,
Well,
it
I
is.
have like a +13 to my initiative.
1 second.
+12. It'll be +13 when I max that proficiency.
The glow in the skull begins to glow brighter and brighter, but the cold feeling still remains. A sudden force pushes you away as you land against your wall. You don't take any damage from it, but it's enough that you were not expecting it. And as you look, you watch as the skull is now floating in the center of the room. A wind is beginning to circulate around it. A bunch of your loose items are beginning to circle around it, and the fur coat is beginning to fly up over it. The skull begins to extend, and you watch as the spine grows from it. Ribs, legs, hands, and then muscle begins to grow over it. And you watch as the coat begins to grow and begin to form into your brother's shape and begin to go over the now new forming muscle. The eyes are continuing to glow as now the hair is growing out. This black and red fur. And then it stops as it lowers gently to the ground. Your brother lays there, his eyes close. A moment passes, nothing. And then his eyes open. Here's what he looks like.
Everyone on stream.
Showing it.
I mean, I already know what he looks like.
He has the same eyes as you. He stands there not in that outfit, rather naked as the day he was born, and now reborn.
Naturally.
He stands about 5'7", with shorter hair than yours, but with the same fur color.
Let me just mark off my spell.
You are not going to be able to cast spells for the rest of the day, and you'll have disadvantage.
I'm marking off the spell
I
slot
know.
anyway.
I know, but I'm just letting you know. You feel this wave of exhaustion carry you. You have disadvantage on all ability checks for the next... You will not be able to cast a spell because this is so new to you and because of how barely you pass a check for the next 3 days. You feel this whelm of You just feel this overwhelming exhaustion take you. But it worked. Where?
She full weakly calls out to him. Brother.
Ziola? I
It's
am...
me.
How... Where?
She reaches out to him, on the floor, exhausted, really just wants to embrace...
He tries to stand up, but then kind of almost falls face first, but because of where you were, he falls into you. Oh, last thing I remember, I was...
It's alright now. Everything will be alright.
He hugged you weakly back. And...
You're alive. Again.
He's just silent. A family reunited. A scar from the past healed.
Well, almost. There's still like one member to find, but we'll get to that later.
Let me have this. A scar from the past healed. A wrong righted. And a newfound belief. A newfound determination. That is where we leave Ziola. Eloquin.
I think I'm gonna go ahead and go for now.
Alright.
I meant like to do it.
Yep.
Because
Alright.
yeah, seems
Eloquin.
not seeming to be looking
After
like it's gonna go off tonight.
Ziola left that day, You got yourself ready. Audrey accompanied you. You had a meeting within the core clergy. That's where they decided to meet. Let me get the notes for this. You were able to convince 3 people to help you. Isla, Mara, and Thorin. Or at the very least, hear you out. So, Audrey accompanies you to the core clergy. There's a strange sense of nostalgia that comes with you as you walk in. In her office is Isla, who had just got finished meeting with Zeola at that point, and she's the only one there currently. Eloquin, it is good to see you.
That it is.
You as well, Audrey. She waves. The others will be here shortly. I must know, why have you decided to do this?
Well, as you know, my leaving of the clergy happened, and with it came a realization of a lack of something here in Odinstead. Orphans in the city tend to go straight to the churches, which makes sense. But to some degree, it isn't enough. The churches can only teach them to be what the churches are, and that gives the children very little choice in what they will actually want to do with their lives. As someone who's had to raise children here, I've met so many who wanted to be something other than clergy and had no other choice due to where they were being raised. And I want to offer that to them. I want to offer them the choice I never got to make.
All right, well, I support that notion. However, Thorin will be a more difficult case.
Yes, I would
you know,
imagine so.
You know how stubborn he can be. He said the only reason he agreed to this meeting is because he said, and I quote, "He is good boy number 1."
Yes.
As she says that, "Aye, that's right!" He just kicks in the door. He is the only good boy. Now, why has good boy brought old Thorin out this far?
Oh, I wanted to suggest financing a better solution for the orphans here in Odinstead.
Are you accusing me of mistreating the bad boys?
No, I am not. Do not worry, Thorin. I think you treat them very well.
Yes, I do. And with that, roll a perception check.
All right. Let me get on my sheet real quick. The sheet. Taking just a little. Oh no, is that giving me problems now? Is this what's going on? I just got it to work and it's like, nope. Alright, I think I'm gonna need you to roll it for me.
That's fine, I understand. Alrighty, Eloquin. Actually, no, this would be a wisdom saving throw. My bad.
Oh, okay.
24, you
I
pass.
didn't even see the roll.
You just beat the DC.
Oh, damn.
You watch as Mara walks into the room from the side as if she's walking through the wall, but the others don't react to that, as if... And then she goes in front of the door, and then you hear he's like, Mara, good for you to make it. It seems like they believe that she walked through the front door. Even Audrey thinks that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's good to see you, Mara.
Well, I do so like to hear things that might better this city. And I must say, I am more supportive of this than you may have thought. Though I do have a question for you.
Of course, I'm always happy to answer questions.
Are you actually going to make sure there is choice, or is it just going to be the illusion of it?
There will actually be choice.
How will you ensure that?
And even then, and above that, I will help them to learn with those choices.
How are you going to ensure that? You yourself cannot possibly be there all the time. You're going to have to hire people to run. How are you going to make sure that the people that the overseers of the orphanage do not have their own biases? How are you going to make sure that the children are exposed to as many choices as possible?
Well, I've met quite a few people, but even I cannot tell all of one person's character. But I have quite a lot of friends who've also met a lot of people. So I believe that if I enlisted their help to find people, I'm sure we could find them. After all, there are always good-hearted people among those with corrupt plans.
And how would you educate them? Surely a child must need education.
Well, that depends on what they would want to do.
What you are suggesting is going to be costly. We will need to provide not just a singular school. It would be easier if we could provide a singular school, but instead we must provide options, which means different schools, whether it be arcane or in the realm of the sciences. In addition,
It's true.
other clergies are going to be against this.
Yes, I can imagine they would be. But I feel I could come up with ways to convince them to be on board.
You better, because you're going to be playing a lot
After all, that just means the clerics that do end up coming their way are truly devoted.
That is a one point of view, and a very biased one at that. Other clergies think it's their duty to give knowledge, to provide that sense of purpose. The Uzaris clergy is probably your greatest ally in this. After all, the Uzaris is the god of knowledge, and what better way to spread knowledge than to make it more readily available?
Indeed.
The Dina clergy may not be as forthcoming. They are very strict in their ways, while willing to compromise.
That they are.
Dina, for context, is the god of war, goddess of war.
Yeah, I know. I remembered.
Yep.
They can be very, very stubborn.
You're going to need to pick your allies very carefully here. Ultimately, it will come down to a vote. You don't need to convince everyone, you just need to convince the majority. So with that in mind, out of all the clergies you know of, who do you think are the more likely to support you?
The ones previously mentioned, and of course the core clergy, I think, would rather be supportive. He looks at Isla.
She nods. That is true. But what of the thought of clergy?
I think...
That is the smithing one, so Thorin. She looks at Thorin as she says that.
Well, I can't decide for Thorin now, can I?
No, but you can't convince me, because I quite enjoy having my workers. And I admit I might use the whip maybe one or too many times, but I do provide on purpose.
Well, I mean, it's not as if you would lose the boys that would come in. We'd simply make sure that it is something that they wanted to do.
Oh, trust me, lad. Nobody wants that at first.
And you never know. Maybe we could send a few over to help work every now and then.
Persuasion with advantage.
Okay.
Nothing like child labor to get this guy on your side.
Yeah, you're gonna have to roll again. My
Yeah, I know.
It's not open enough.
I know. I just, I have to say it. I have to do the DM thing.
Yeah, but definitely Eloquent would definitely think a good heart is good for any kid.
Natural 20. Lad, you had me at free labor. Additional free labor, I might add.
kind of figured.
Alright, that's 3. There's still many clergies in the city.
That is true. There is quite a lot. And even beyond that, there's quite a lot of difference within clergies as is.
There are 13 in total. You'll need 7, and we only have 3.
I think the Inhera clergy would be rather on board.
Mm-hmm. For the record, there is a clergy of
Onai.
Argath in Hera. That is sense. They do value logic. 4.
And I feel Onaya would be pretty on board as well. They like peace, and this would be a great way to make peace.
Or conflict. Remember, this will be a controversial thing in the clergies. Peace doesn't always mean everyone gets what they want. Peace means there is no conflict. Outward, anyways.
Yes, of course.
They are a coin flip. You will
Of course, one thing I would like to add that I may not have mentioned before is I would ask for representatives of each of the clergy, as I feel that religion is something important no matter where you plan on going.
That would get a number of them on your side. However...
So it's not as if they would be completely out of the picture.
With that said, though, there are still going to be issues with that. That notion alone should give me enough to work with to present the idea. However, there is a chance that that may not be enough. The issue is being presented this night. If you have anything that you can give me, anything at all, I will be able to use it. But I need something a little bit more concrete.
Indeed. That is...
What can you provide me? What assurances can you make it so that it's easier on both the officials of the city and the clergies? The clergy's word does carry a lot of weight, but ultimately it is still a government decision, and therefore the city will need to make an official vote. The biggest issue will be finances. This is an experiment, and a costly one at that. Staffing, making sure they're well fed, making sure they're well educated, to the standards that you wish to have. Even if we cut some corners, it still will cost quite a bit.
Give me a minute. I'm trying to think of things like Eloquent has something.
Yeah,
like
here's the thing. You're not alone. Audrey at this point speaks up. My father's finances were given to me after his departure. You can tell that's not a happy topic. I have not really touched the money, so I can use that to put a down investment on this.
And I would personally be putting in gold from my own adventures as well.
How much? She looks to both of you.
As much as I can give.
She needs like a legitimate number from you.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of I meant that with future stuff because he doesn't have a whole lot of gold right now, so right now it'd literally be all of his gold.
And you?
Which I cannot look at right now.
I inherited, from what he held in the city, I have inherited about 5,000 platinum pieces. They're yours. That's enough at least to get the idea off the ground. You're okay with this, Eloquin?
He looks at Audrey.
She gives you a affirmative nod. She knows what she's giving up. Roll me an insight.
Okay. Yeah, again, same thing.
Yep, I know. I have to do the DM thing, though. I'll give you advantage.
Yeah, no, I get it. Trust me, I understand.
Jesus Christ, another natural 20.
What the?
30. To her, she does not know how much that money is blood money, considering what her father was into. She does not want that money, and she'd rather it be used for something good than keep it, because she really does not want the money. It's a matter of principle. You can tell that from her.
Yes, I'd say that'd be fine.
Alright then. Audrey, I'll need you to accompany me for this, because you will need to be there to provide validity to that backing. In the meantime, Eloquin, I will see what I can do for you.
Alright.
Ziola, because you're in roll 20, roll me a d100.
Sure. Good thing I was quick to react there. My microphone was off.
I will say, Eloquin will stay behind and have a little chat with Isla.
Yep.
I don't know why I'm clicking on my sheets for all of D100.
Roll d100.
27.
Okay, I will get that later. Isla looks at you. Is there anything else I can help you with?
Yes. There were actually two things I wanted to talk to you about.
I am hoping one of them is the wings. I did not wish to comment, but you never did.
Yeah, I probably should.
Yeah, I have kind of been waiting months for an
died.
explanation. Makes sense.
Yeah, I died, and then
Definitely.
I gained some inner balance, and they gave me wings. I don't understand how
Yeah.
it works.
Yeah, I was wondering. I never got the chance to ask you when we fought Arkham, but what is
Yeah.
it you needed?
Anyway, I wanted to make sure that you were okay.
Death is an
Dying in any circumstance is not.
You forget who I
fun.
am, Eloquent.
And even if you are, even if you are a servant of Kor, I know it's something that you don't come back easily from.
I view death differently from you. I view it as simply the next step. While dying itself was not easy, for me, it was simply a matter of going back to where I originally came from.
If you say you're okay, then
She surprisingly is. Like, your past living, I tell, like, the Death Clerics, like, you know, the Clerics of Kor, they're always prepared to die. You never really got that concept because you were a little too young, but the older you get, the more you kind of...
yeah.
The more you just kind of accept the reality.
Second, I assume my friend Ziola stopped by.
She did.
Kind of worries me what she's wanting to do.
Do you trust me, young Eloquin?
Yes, I do.
Then trust that I would not have told her anything if I did not think if I thought for a second she had malintent.
Oh, it's not that I think she has malintent. I know Ziola better than that.
This is her path to walk.
It worries me the prices she might have to pay.
It is her path to walk, Eloquin. Whatever prices she pays, if she wants to continue on it, she must pay them. You above everyone else should know that, all things considered. All you can do is to help her deal with the consequences.
I have no intention of interfering.
Then all you can do is just be there for her.
Still
as a
does
friend.
not stop me from worrying. As you and I both know,
Mhm.
when dealing with the forces of life and death, things tend to be more complicated than they appear.
You are not wrong, but all you can do is be there for her for what comes after.
I will be.
And then that's all you can do. By the way, Mara just simply disappeared, for the record, when she left. I'm carrying over that wisdom save. The others assume that she walked out the door. As in,
I'm
they
just
saw.
seeing her like fucking. I'm seeing the actual gem at.
Pretty much.
All right. I wanted to talk to you about.
All right. Well, if that's
And
all.
Isla, I do want to say also, if you ever need any help, know that I am always willing. I may not be officially part of the church anymore. This is still my home, and I am always willing to help.
I know, and I thank you. But for now, my work requires me elsewhere, and ever since becoming the head, it has been nonstop. Just make sure that your friend is all right.
All right.
And with that 27, I use my severity rule. The notion passes that night. It will take months to set up. But the Eloquent home for the lost has been approved and will be given funds in order to progress. And that is where we're going to end this little side episode. Thank you all.